Hi guys, I generally don't talk about philosophical issues on the channel, but I felt the need to respond to this. Talk TV's Julia Hartley-Brewer invited on a guy who does not represent the Church of England to talk about the Church of England. Now this is a common tactic by Talk TV. They invite people on to talk about other people. We see it all the time when it comes to Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. People within the Church of England have decided they would prefer not to refer to God as he or him and would prefer to use a gender-neutral pronoun. This has got some people's knickers in a twist, and evangelicals, which Julia interviewed here. But I have so many questions. Enjoy this pointless discussion.
Morning, Julia.
I have a funny feeling, even though you and I are probably on opposite sides of this debate, we're going to agree. I am a sort of staunch fundamentalist atheist, you're an evangelical Christian, but I'm betting we're both going to agree this is utterly and utterly bonkers.
I do agree with you, Julia, and I think when I first heard this, I didn't actually believe it. I thought, really? Have they really done that? They've really gone so far from orthodoxy and so far from traditional faith. And I think what this shows really is just how far they are prepared to go. I mean, we worship God as a Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's how he's revealed himself. And Jesus came to earth as a man and rose again as a man.
Okay, and then he became a what? Because... Okay, this is where my questions begin, and this is where we go down the rabbit hole. If God came down, and let me be clear here, I don't believe any of this, but if you're a Christian and a fundamentalist Christian, you believe that God came down in human form, so he became a man. He died. He was raised again after 3 days. I think he went to hell for 3 days, and then he came back. And then he went back up to heaven at some stage, and he returned to being God again. It's always the same person, okay? Another question is, what was happening? Who was in charge when Jesus was God on earth? That's the question, but that's for another day. So, when Jesus went back up to heaven, what happened to his body? Does God have a body in heaven? And if God has a body in heaven, is it a male body or a female body? If it's a male body and it has the bits, what does he use those bits for? Like, there's so many questions. And how does he exist if he has a physical body? Does he eat? Does he need to sleep? Does he need to do certain things with that body? Can he get sick? Can he just cure himself? Are there other people there? Is it just him? There's so many questions. So as soon as you say that it's a him, then we generally assume that it has genitalia maybe, or maybe it doesn't have genitalia, or there's so many questions that we have to ask. If you're saying it's a man, we generally have an idea what a man is. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of other issues here, but just to stick with this general idea, is he physical? Is it a physical body that's up in heaven? If it's not, then it's not a man. It's not human. Then there's no reason to call it he. Anyway.
And then to say that, oh, well, we don't really worship Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We worship like Mother, Sister, and Holy Spirit. Well, I'm sorry, that's now a different God. That's something else. You're now creating a different...
You don't get to dictate what the Church of England believe. In the same way, I don't get to dictate what you believe. This guy isn't representing the Church of England. So he can't say, well, the Church of England can't say this, or the Church of England can't say that. The Church of England is like a club. Okay, they have their own rules, and they get to rewrite their rules if they decide to rewrite their rules. And I and you and Julia Hartley-Brewer here have no control over that. That's their decision. And if they decide we don't want to refer to God as, and this is, we're not talking about the church itself, there are some people within the church, but if they decide we want to use a gender-neutral pronoun to describe God, that's their decision. Like, how does it doesn't have any impact on my life, of course, but if you're an evangelical Christian, you have your own religion. How can what they're doing have an impact on you? Because you have your own belief. how does what they believe impact you? It doesn't. It can't. Otherwise, you'd be a member of that religion.
Religion, you're making God how you want him to be, not how God has revealed himself.
Everyone makes God, if you're a member of a religion, how you want God to be. That's why there are thousands of religions within Christianity. Thousands of denominations. Because those people are making God as they wish God to be. Because if there was only one type of God, then there'd be only one religion. But that's clearly not the case.
And I think this shows just how far from even pretending to be orthodox, when you're messing with the Trinity and messing with how we address God and how Christians have always traditionally addressed God as.
People had different concepts of God even in early Christianity. Look, I'm not a scholar, okay, but from what I've read, the concept of God was completely different at the beginning. And it has changed over the last number of centuries as well. And now you're ending up with hundreds, if not thousands, of religions. So they all have their own different concept of God. Some people believe God is loving. Others think that he's vengeful. Think that that he created the universe and then disappeared. Others think that he's always around. Some people think that he comes down and speaks to people. Others believe that he appears on toast. There are hundreds of different concepts and ways of describing God.
Father.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I can remember certainly in my teenage years this whole idea, God is a woman, and if there is a God, there's no reason to think the male or female God, an almighty power would transcend male and female. These are earthly concepts rather than heavenly concepts, and that doesn't not make sense to me. If there is a God, but it does just seem bizarre yet again. And this apparently originally was put forward by Joanna Stobart, a vicar in the Diocese of Guildford, Surrey. Said some clergy want to refer to God without saying "Hear Him," particularly in prayers of forgiveness for sins. This is the bit I don't understand. Sort of, if this is what you do think, and we see this again and again. We got vicars who say, "Well, I'm not entirely sure I believe in an afterlife," or things like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
How does that impact you? If they believe in an afterlife or they don't believe in an afterlife? Like, as long as I'm not forcing it upon other people, as long as I'm not punishing people who are living today by saying, you must do this, you must believe what I'm saying. Like the evangelicals, the evangelicals want to use the state to impose their beliefs upon citizens. Okay, they want to ban abortion, for example. They want to make it illegal eventually to be homosexual. These are the things that these people are not content with. Well, this is what I believe, and I keep it within my four walls. No, they want to influence government. They want to push policies. But if somebody within the church believes in an afterlife or doesn't believe in an afterlife, how does that belief impact my life? It doesn't, as long as they keep it to themselves and they don't try and push policies or anything like that.
Maybe the church isn't for you. It does seem to me there are an awful lot of people who want to be part of...
Sorry to keep interrupting this, but isn't it the church isn't it for the people of the church to decide? It's like, if you're, you're a member of a club, tennis club, and normally in the tennis club they allow up to 100 members. And they decide, actually, this year we didn't have so many people. Let's reduce the limit of. No, we're becoming really popular the other way. Let's increase membership to 200 members. That's the decision of the people within the club. It's not me on the outside saying, no, you should limit it to 100. It's nonsensical. Religion, in a sense, is like a club. You have your beliefs, you have your opinions, you have your rules, and the people within the club decide the rules, not people on the outside. Because then, what's the point? Now, of course, it has to operate within a certain legal framework, but generally the rules of belief are up to the people of the members of the religion.
To the Christian church, particularly the C of E church, but don't actually seem to agree with any of its teachings, in which case go off and set up a new religion would be my suggestion.
Well, I do agree with you. When you have very clear church doctrines and the 39 articles and all that, and they're very, very precise and very clear and designed to try and protect the faith and say, this is actually what we believe. And if you don't believe that, you ought to be disciplined, or you ought to leave, or in good conscience, you ought to resign. And I think when you have bishops who are very clearly and obviously departing from the faith and very clearly and obviously teaching stuff that is contrary, direct contradiction to what the creeds and what the teachings of the church say, you've got to ask, why are they not?
But you're not a member of the church. Like, you're standing on the outside looking in saying they're doing it wrong. These people shouldn't be saying what they're saying. But you're not a member of the Church of England. In the same way, I'm not a member of the Church of England, so I don't get to say what the Church of England members should or shouldn't do within the Church of England. Once again, within a legal framework, when it operates within the state, that's a different thing. But what their individual beliefs, or if they want to change the teachings of the church within the church, that's their business, not ours.
Being disciplined, or why is somebody not saying, hang on a minute, this isn't actually Christianity? And I think that the problem is that the church has become so captured by sort of woke ideology and
So the church has been captured by woke ideology. Once again, I wish somebody would explain to me what woke means. Because I tried to do it before, and we're still hearing it being used in all sorts of... it has all sorts of meanings. It means everything and nothing. It's things I don't like. That's what it is. For this evangelical, it's just woke means things I don't like. And I don't like people in another religion referring to God as not he or him. It has zero impact on my life, but I don't like it. This sort of sums up evangelicals to a T, no? People who don't like stuff and want to enforce it upon everyone else. Or they like stuff and they want to enforce it upon everyone else. Something like that. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.